Kevin Collins here with another raw file of the week edit for the Fro Knows photo.com forums. I've edited this picture before. I've already submitted a black and white and a color version to the forums, and I've seen other forum members' edits. This was my first photo that I downloaded and used to participate in this challenge. And so I've done the edits on this before. I know what I want to do with this one, so this video may not be that long. So I just want to get into it and say that my goal here is not to create an over processed image. This is a wedding photo, I believe. Looking at the gown anyway, it looks as though it's a wedding gown. A wedding is one of those once in a lifetime kind of memories, and you don't want heavily modified, heavily tweaked, heavily processed picture in the portfolio here. You want this to be a natural trigger for a memory. As soon as you open up that picture, everything starts flooding back, and that's what you're after here, is to re-engage the emotion of the day. And while you can do lots of things with this picture, honestly, to do a lot of them, it would be just over the top in my mind. So the touches or the things that I'm going to be doing to this photo are going to be slight, and my goal here is to make them appear natural and not noticeable. So let's get into it. I believe Greg is the one who actually took this picture, and I want to thank him if that is the case. Give him the credit for it. It does say copyright Greg Cazillo on it, so I'm assuming that he's the one who actually took it. He used his Nikon D3 using the 85mm prime f1.4. Great glass, by the way. 1/125th of a second exposure at f2.2, ISO 1000. So we're going to go straight into making our virtual copy and into the develop module with our virtual copy. I'm going to start off by doing the two things that I do to almost every picture, and that is to turn the sharpening on, which is Jared's general sharpening. He gave the settings in one of his videos, and I just blatantly copied them. Basically, it sets the sharpening amount to 45, the radius to 1, the detail to 39, and the masking to 70. I use that as a starting point for all my sharpening, and if I think it needs it, I come back and I tweak those. The other one I turn on is lens correction, which basically just turns this check on. And in most cases, what will happen is Lightroom will say, oh, this is a Nikkor 85 f1.4. Here's what I got to do to make it happen. For whatever reason, Lightroom doesn't know what kind of lens this is. But yet, as soon as I turn this from none here to Nikon, everything just falls into place. It knows about the lens, it knows what it has to do, and it does make some subtle changes. You can see that it brought out the highlights in the hair here, probably from a backfill light that Greg had set up, I'm not sure. And it brought out some more details down here in the arm, the lower left-hand corner there. You know, it just made everything a little brighter on the edges. So we're going to leave that alone. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the white balance, and that's just to give the whole image just a little more warmth. I'm not going to do it heavily. I'm just going to bump it to about, I don't know, 41, 4200, something like that. It's at 3700 now. So I'm going to bump it up. That's too much. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at 4200, and really the only thing I did was I brought out a little more of the reds in her hair and made her skin just a little more warmth and warmer. I'm gonna bump the contrast somewhere about 50, I think, and I'm gonna bump the clarity somewhere about 35. Make it exactly 35. Bump the vibrance. See, I don't want to go overboard and make it, you know, that. I'm thinking somewhere 20. Yeah. You know, for all intents and purposes, this picture's done. I mean, that's all that this picture really needs. It's a stunning picture with great detail. The focus is spot on because, I mean, as you can, if you zoom in on the nose here, you can see baby hair on her nose. If that's not hair, then it's the powder from her makeup. I mean, it's just stunning, the quality of the focus and the quality of this picture. But like I said, there's not anything else that this picture needs. I am going to do one final thing, just ever so slightly, to bring out these eyes. These eyes have 100 colors in them. I mean, they've got greens, they've got browns, they've got blues. I mean, they're just out of this world. And what I'm going to try to do is, it looks to me like they're mostly a blue base. I think you would call her hazel blue or hazel green, but I'm going to try and bring out the blues, and I'm just going to do it ever so slightly. And I'm going to do it with the adjustment brush, and most of it is going to be here in the brightness, because I'm not really wanting to change much. I just want to make it a little more standoffish. So I'm going to bump it up to about 25, and I may end up bringing that back down, maybe making it more. I want the effect to be as unnoticeable as possible. I'm going to bump the saturation to 25. I'm going to bump the clarity to 30, and I'm going to use a pale blue as a tint. I mean, you can see it's I mean, there's barely any blue in there, but there is blue. So with that, we're just going to paint the eye and try not to get out into the white. And as you can tell, we're just ever so slightly brightening that eye. And we're going to do the other eye. Going to do it the same way, just, you know, fill it completely in. And as you can tell, I mean, we just brightened them, made them stand out a little more. Now I'm going to zoom out and check our progress here. And I'm going to turn it off and on just as a comparison. There's the original. There's the final. And just to be honest, I went too far with it. The brightness is just too much. Even 15 is a little too much. Yeah, maybe a little bit more than that, 12. There we go. So that's all that I'm going to do to this picture. I mean, I'm going to show you the before and the after here. I mean, the changes are slight. They really are. But what I did was I brought out the colors a little more, made them a little more poppy. Gave her skin a warmer tone. And what I tried to do with the eyes is compensate for the contrast, which made them darker, and just bring them back to their, just made all the colors in there jump. And you know, I may have went overboard with it. I'm looking at it now, thinking that even still, I've went overboard with it. I may have went overboard with the white balance, actually. Let's bump the white balance back down just a slight bit. About 3,800. Let's do before and after now. Yeah, much better, much better. So with that, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to mess with it again. I'm going to say once again thank you to Greg for letting us use his picture. Thanks for Jared and Greg for putting this challenge up on their forums, and hopefully there'll be many more to come. So until I get the edit done for week number 12, we'll see you.